Good evening, although it's probably morning when you're seeing this, possibly. This is about, guys, constant question about when we are a beneficiary of SSD, what do we have to report if we start back to work, part-time? Do we have to report if we know we're under SGA? Do we have to report if we know we're under TWP? Those are terms of art. If you don't know about them, there's, I believe, videos on those. Look in the playlist, do a little search. Anyway, there is a handy dandy little handout by the SSA. It's form SSA-16-INST. And I'm going to run through this. I'll point out the one that they talk about, but I'm going to give you the rest of it too, because it has to do with other things that you have to report on. But to get to the part about working, it says, and where did I see it? Oh, one of its bullets, you'll see. I'll attach this down below in the comments. Bullet point. These are changes to be reported and how to report. Bullet point. You return to work as an employee or self-employed, regardless of amount of earnings. So that's two things that points out to me. The returning to the work has to be reported, even if you don't necessarily know what you're going to make, maybe. If you are returning to work, they might ask you to estimate. I'm not sure. So it's the return to work in general, because as you know, that could prompt the CDR. And they otherwise, well, that's probably the main reason, but I mean, because when we return to work and we are W-2, they're going to start getting the earnings reported to them through the various reporting obligations employers have to do, as well as IRS information, I believe. And that will come out later. But so the reason why they may want the return to work is because they want to look at to see if that means that you've improved versus not improved, but able to get a accommodating job, or one that, you know, is obviously very part-time, that you can do despite the same disabilities that you were awarded on. Okay, so the question was asked that, well, because a particular SSA officer said, you don't have to keep telling us how much you're making unless and until we ask for it. It was a self-employed person. That is a little concerning to me, only because, you know, when we're self-employed, there is no like employer sending in payroll information multiple times a year. They're only going to get what we report at the end of the tax year, right? When we file our diligent taxes as self-employed people. So if I kind of feel like we do want to report, even though that person was told, nah, don't even report it to us unless we ask for it. Well, my goodness, that could be, you know, they dropped the ball a lot. What if it's 4 years later and you're earning over SGA and you didn't realize it? I mean, honestly, I want everybody to know enough about SGA to know whether or not they're over it, to know whether or not their gross amount is over, but with their ERWs or their business expenses, if they're self-employed, they'd be under, etc. But that's not always going to be the case. So what does reporting the amount you earn every month do? If they don't read it because they're busy with other things and they only want to look at it once a year, not much, but at least you'll have proof that you are not working without reporting for sure. So it would go towards that good faith, which might be helpful in the event you get an overpayment and you are seeking a waiver because it would be an immense hardship. Because one of the requirements is that it's not your fault. And I think that can help show that it's not your fault. Because you were trying to report, you just don't have the power to stop the check, you know, or figure it out. I mean, it's complicated stuff. Okay, so as to being self-employed, your SSA always says, don't even bother telling us, we'll let you know when we want it. Ooh. You always want to keep track. And again, this was a self-employed situation. a gigger. So the person was getting 1099s from a big company, but is self-employed. Remember, you always want to have your business expenses all accounted for. Keep a file. That could be cell phone, that could be mileage, everything. Even if you decide you're not going to write it off of your taxes, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but maybe you're not going to choose to. Have them anyway, so that if this issue comes up about SGA, you will have kept the proof to fight it if it comes up and rears its ugly head. Okay. I would keep a running tab of, a spreadsheet, even if it's in a loose leaf folder, month by month, of all the income received, the revenues, and then separately your expenses, and preferably by the month if they're monthly expenses. If they're broader than that and you have to prorate them, so be it. But you want to keep that stuff. You want to keep those receipts and the proof, because you will need it later if you have to pay never pay, and you'll be glad you did. Okay, so that is, I'm going to leave it at that. Otherwise, it's going to be too long. I'll do another video on the other things that have to be reported, all the changes that have to be reported when you're on Social Security, disability. Yeah. So I'll do that separately, or else this will be way too long. All right. I'll chat with you later. Bye, guys.